Hello, and welcome to another episode of Two Chicks, One Show, where we recap and review one currently airing show, an episode a week as it airs. My name is Trisha Ennis. She is Kate Calabro. We are your two chicks. This week's one show is Outlander, Season 2, Episode 6, Best Laid Schemes.
Yeah, so Claire and Jamie and Murtaugh and Fergus all decide to go get together and go on with this ruse to ruin the shipment that French McFrenchpants and Prince Charles have worked together with Jamie. So Prince Charles won't get the money and won't go to Scotland. And of course, it doesn't turn out perfectly, but it does kind of work. Claire is super pregnant all of a sudden and being worrisome. And then what else happens? I mean, it wasn't that happened. Oh,
Murtaugh?
and then Murtaugh finds out finally after like a whole season and a half.
But way before he finds out in the book.
Yeah, finds out that like Claire is a time traveler, like about freaking time. And he punches Jamie and it was totally worth it. And Jamie promises that he won't duel blackjack, but then something happens to wee little Fergus that makes Jamie duel blackjack. And then Claire freaks out and is bleeding, and we don't know if the baby lives or dies. And Jamie gets arrested. So yeah.
Because dueling is illegal.
Yeah, in France.
Yes, just in France. It's still legal in a lot of other places, including the U.S., which isn't the U.S. yet.
No.
Nope. Yeah, there's a lot happens and nothing happens in the episode, like, at the same time, which I think is a lot of this season. Like, every episode this season feels like it's been a really slow burn and then a race to the finish.
Yeah, it's like the smuggling and like fake robbery of the shipment happens very early on. Then it's like this lull. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, cliffhanger.
Yeah, and the cliffhanger is basically, oh my God. Yeah, the shipment thing, the whole plan to ruin the shipment actually plays out way differently in the book. But this is the first time they've made like huge changes to what happens in the book that I've actually liked better. Because it happens in front of you, it's more involved, it's more tense, more interesting in the show than it is in the book. In the book, they put together this whole plot to fake smallpox. But the idea is that they're going to get Murtaugh on the ship in Portugal. And they're going, I think it's Portugal, and going to, at some point when they're out at sea, take all of these things and make himself look like he has smallpox. Get discovered by the crew. And then they would have to make port in Spain or something. And where Jamie would like grab Murtaugh and they would burn the ship. So it would be far enough away that the Comte Saint-Germain couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, which is not what happens.
And this all was supposed to take place over like a number of weeks. Because Murtaugh sets out before all of the duel-y stuff happens. And then the duel happens. And then the aftermath of that, he's still on the ship, and there's like this whole, oh crap, somebody needs to go meet him.
Yeah, which is post Murtaugh acting as a rogue, like Robin Hood, like smuggler kind of dude.
He's a thief.
Yeah, thief. They do send Murtaugh with the shipment to Portugal to sell it because they know that it's not tarnished, so they're still going to turn a profit on it. So Murtaugh is gone to Portugal for a bit.
They did it in a weird order, but it worked for me because it meant there was more involvement. It meant the Comte Saint-Germain was more involved, so that he actually like saw the shipment get stolen and things like that. And it made Jamie seem like he was willing to take more risks.
It also made Jamie seem like he was a victim as well.
Right. Like so I liked it. It was more interesting. It was more involved. It meant Fergus got to do a little more in this episode than he does in the story. He like did all the sneaking in and making the like dousing the jackets with
Yeah.
whatever it was, and filling the wine bottles with the stuff.
Hmm.
Which so it was good. I didn't mind the change. I thought it was pretty good. It was more visually interesting than like the description that they give in the book. So I really like that. Um, Other than that, there weren't actually a whole lot of changes from the way things play out. They did add that scene. They added two things. One, Murtaugh finding out about Claire being a time traveler, which was a sweet scene actually.
Hmm.
And the scene where Claire goes off on all of the other aristocratic women
Oh yeah.
about the poor people in the streets.
Which is major foreshadowing for the French Revolution.
Right, exactly. No, she's going on about it. And she's like, you should really do something about this. And I'm like, but they don't, because in about 30 years, they're going to have a revolution.
Yeah, and like the one aristocratic lady was like, "Oh, you're right. We should move them to further out parts of the city so we don't have to see them."
Exactly. And that's exactly what I knew she was going to say. Like, as soon as she said, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, you should get them off the streets. Sweep them away. I know that's what you're about to say. People still say that.
Yeah.
We just don't want to see it. I don't care if there's poverty. I just don't want to look at it. It's disturbing. Poverty keeps me wealthy.
Hmm. Um. So yeah. So basically, Claire's smallpox, little potion works, but Frenchie McFreshpants and Prince Charles don't seem to care that there might be smallpox. They're like, we're still going to sell this, which leads Frenchie and Jamie to go off in the middle of the night with all their stuff to sell it for profit, which Jamie didn't think was going to happen. So then they had to go to plan B, which was to dress poor Murtaugh up like a French dude.
Which he was not too keen on.
No, he looked quite handsome though. And to hire a couple,
you say so yourself.
to hire some dudes, and they went out and they attacked the shipment. And Frenchie was not backing down. And Murtaugh like holding a gun to him, and Frenchie's holding a gun to Murtaugh, and it was just like a classic stare off. So Jamie bum rushes Frenchie and knocks him down to save his life, and then gets in like a fist fight with Murtaugh.
And like tells Murtaugh to punch him in the face and knock him out.
Thus proving that Jamie clearly couldn't have been involved in the scheme, even though Frenchie totally thinks Jamie's involved in the scheme.
Well, Frenchie doesn't trust Jamie.
Yeah, because he saved his life. And even Crazy McCrazy Prince said, why would he do that? Oh, he's so nuts. He's like off the wall. I just
The
can't.
Prince? Yeah, he is. And he's still like never. I don't know if it's a really good performance or if that actor is just bonkers. But he freaks me out whenever he's on screen. Like he just makes me very uncomfortable.
That's what I was gonna say. He makes me very uncomfortable the whole time. I'm just like, ooh, he's like swarmy, and I'm like,
it's the way that he like holds himself and like the way he delivers the lines and stuff, and like his head is always like,
it's always like this.
Yeah, it's So I don't know if it's just an amazing performance or what. I'm gonna go with amazing performance.
For that guy's sake, I hope so.
I'd love to see like an interview with him or something where he's acting like a totally normal person.
Yeah, so Prince Charles is kind of just like throwing the white flag. At this point, he doesn't think they're going to be able to make enough profit. He thinks that he might have to go back to Rome, or even worse, he might have to go to Poland. So, I mean, that's pretty much where we leave the whole scheming situation.
Yeah, and then like some time passes. Not a lot of time, but a little bit of time passes.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why Jamie and Claire decide to tell Murtaugh that she's a time traveler, or as Murtaugh calls her, a witch, is because Jamie has to tell Murtaugh, he just wants to beat someone up. He wants to see someone die. He misses Scotland. He's like sick of this friendship. He has to
wear pants
all the time. He has to have his hair back. And he's just like super amped about this duel. Like he's just like Christmas Eve little kid excited. And Jamie's like, yeah, by the way, that's not happening.
I'm not gonna duel that guy.
Yeah. And Murtaugh's just like super pissed. So both Jamie and Claire decide that it's time to tell Murtaugh. So Jamie starts telling Murtaugh in the courtyard. I'm like, this is an extremely open area for you to be having this conversation. And then I realized that they're speaking Gaelic. I'm like, okay. Because I was just like, what? Why in this whole big house in the courtyard?
We must use our secret language.
Yeah. So of course Murtaugh believes him, but is a little bit upset that Jamie didn't trust him with this knowledge and punches him in the face, which I mean, I guess is a sign of endearment in Scotland because they're like, yeah, we're best friends again.
Between dudes like them, yeah.
Yeah.
Like punching your friend in the face, that works.
And then I love how Claire finds Murtaugh like sitting at Murtaugh's little desk. Like it's literally a desk for like a child. It's so small. It's like he can barely fit like a pen and a little ink pad. And he's like writing down all the years she was alive. And I know a lot of people online were just like, is this just Murtaugh's way of asking how old Claire is? Like, so he just like gives her a list. He goes, so these are all the years you were alive. She goes, yes. And then he questions about
the Jacobite rebellion and
Jacobite and like knowing when people die. And of course, Claire doesn't know anything about the Frasers or the Mackenzies because she didn't know them prior to time traveling. So she doesn't know when Murtaugh's going to die. She doesn't know when Jamie's going to die. And Murtaugh says like this really sweet thing where he's like, well, you know what? I'm glad it's you and not me, pretty much. He's like, I would not.
He's like, she says, I don't know about you. I don't know about Jamie. I don't know specifics. And he says, even knowing just what Jamie says, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, like she already knows that the rebellion's gonna fail.
Right, she knows that it leads to the end of basically everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's highly unlikely that anyone she knows is going to survive the Rising.
I feel like Murtaugh might. I feel like he just won't.
I feel like freaking Dougal will.
Dougal's gonna he's like a cockroach. I don't think he's ever
gonna. Anyone who's gonna survive the Rising, it's gonna be freaking Dougal.
But I think it could be like Dougal and Murtaugh. Like I feel like Murtaugh will like oversleep that day or just like not go. And like he'll just like, oh shit, missed it.
Whoops.
My bad.
No, that'll be Angus. Yeah. Angus and Rupert will just like wake up in the fields with the sheep and they're empty,
butt naked and drunk.
Yeah, and just like, wait, what?
We were supposed to be somewhere today. But yeah, then this is where stuff starts to get boring. Then Claire is working in the hospital.
She like overworks herself, which doesn't happen in the book, I don't believe.
Well, before she overworks herself, she has a conversation with the king's executor.
Right, which also happens very differently in the book, but it's the same concept. And actually, it was just as interesting to hear in the show as it was to hear in the audiobook. Just the description of what they do to traitors.
Well, I mean, in the show, they're not traitors; they're practitioners of the dark magic.
Oh, right. Sorry, I was paying attention, but only like partly.
Yeah. So
I was waiting for my pizza to show up.
The king's executor has to leave work early. Like that's pretty much the gist.
He has to go execute someone.
And I have to go prepared to like completely torture people, rip out their organs while they're still bleeding. It's real science. It's really hard. Like a professional has to do it. It's not just
exhausting.
Like hanging. Yeah, it's not just like hanging someone. Because the king is now like on a witch hunt looking for several individuals that are practicing the dark arts, dark magic in the city. And he's telling Claire all this, and you're kind of just like, is it because fucking Jamie like started that rumor that she's this fucking magical witch?
Like
yeah. And then he says something, he goes, oh, maybe you should go visit Master Raymond. And she's like, oh shit, yeah, that guy is a practicer of the dark arts, and like runs to him. And he's like, oh, I'm not too worried. And then she's like, no, like they're planning your death. Like you're not getting it. Like this isn't just like little funsies, they're bored. Like they will rip your organs apart. She's like, oh, okay, well then I'll leave. And then this is like, we all know that I love like a good theory. So then I'm like, oh my
Everyone
god.
loves a good theory.
Yeah. And I'm always like trying to find like who's the other time traveler. And I'm like, oh my god, he's a time traveler.
Haven't you thought that from the beginning of the season though?
Yeah. Because he says like these little things where you're just like, oh my god. So this time he said, oh, don't worry, like Madame Fraser, we'll meet again in this life or in another time. Oh, okay, that's not weird. And then before he said a couple episodes that like he likes to collect things from different times.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree.
Why are you saying time so much, huh? So, maybe it's the last time we see. I don't know. So he's running, which is awful because he's got like an extremely nice shop.
Yeah.
Like that's a great storefront.
He's got all that merchandise that's probably very expensive.
I know. He's just gotta like leave town.
Yeah. It's too bad.
But yeah. So Claire overworks herself.
Yeah, which in the book she quits working at the hospital before.
So that would make sense.
All that. Like she's actually smart about it. She stops working at the hospital when it's obvious that it's becoming possibly dangerous. I think she might bleed a little and she's worried about it, so she stops working there. I can't remember exactly. All the events blur together in the book like really quickly.
I feel like a lot of things blur together towards the end of this episode too.
Yeah.
So she learns that Jamie meets with the Frenchie and the prince. Murtaugh's gone. Jamie comes back home, is told by Fergus that Claire stayed at the hospital because she was tired. They didn't mention that she was bleeding or anything. Then Suzette comes in. And, like, I don't know why any of us are surprised. The prince has a very large bill at the brothel, but has no money. Typical. So Jamie has to now go back to the brothel and pay off the prince's debts. While as Jamie's leaving, Claire's coming home. So another time they're missed connection.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when shit starts to get real. Like in literally the last 10 minutes, you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, the last 10 minutes was a lot of just a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
I did love the scenes between Jamie and Fergus.
Mm-hmm.
In the house. I thought they were cute. I like the relationship that they're playing out with Jamie and Claire and Fergus, how it's very like it's like a family. He's like their weird adopted French child.
And they're like, oh, this is what it's gonna be like when we have a kid. Like we're practicing.
He's totally gonna be a pickpocket who says weird shit.
Yeah.
I did like his comment about Murtaugh when he asked Jamie where he is, and Jamie says he'll probably be gone for a few months, and Fergus says something like, "Oh, I'll miss his happy face." Or
I'll miss his smiling face. Yeah, something like that.
Which is cute. And then Fergus accompanies Jamie because Prince Charles was an idiot. He's very upset by the fact that he is now broke, and he's refusing to pay his tab at the brothel.
Yeah.
Jamie has to go pay it for him.
Mm-hmm.
And who do they meet at the brothel? But Blackjack Randall.
Yeah.
Who finds Fergus in a room.
It's like literally the worst thing ever. Like, oh god. I don't know.
It plays out a little differently, but again, they'll probably return to it because like one of the biggest differences ever since like midpoint of last season through this season between how you are relayed information in the show and how you relayed the information in the book is that you now get to see things from Jamie's perspective. So like this scene with Fergus, you do not see in the book. It's relayed later by Jamie
to
Claire.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see any of this when it happens. So seeing some of it when it happens, maybe Jamie will expand on it later, or maybe Fergus will expand on it later. or something, because you don't know what happened, but you know that something with Fergus spurred on this duel. In the book, the duel just happens, and you're like, what the hell, Jamie? You literally just promised not to do this.
Mm-hmm. Which, we should mention the promise was like he like did a backseat.
Yeah, with the I forgot about that. Where he's like, I've been thinking.
Yeah,
And
as he's like rubbing her feet, and I'm just like, wait, weren't you guys mad at each other? Like,
well, I think they do the thing with the belly where like her belly is noticeably larger to point out that like a few months have passed.
Okay.
But yeah, he's like, oh, I've been thinking, and I've actually saved your life like a bunch of times. So I think that we're actually even.
Which is true. Like
yeah, I mean,
Jamie
he's
has
not
her.
wrong.
Yeah. So he's like, but don't worry. I'm still not going to duel blackjack because I like thought this through, and if anything goes like awry, I want to make sure that you can travel through the stones and get back to Frank.
Yeah, I need to make sure you have somewhere to go. So I'm doing this for you.
I'm such a good husband. I'm super sensitive. Love me. Because I'm doing everything for you, Claire. Like, that's pretty much what
I know I
saying.
already promised to do this.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to make myself feel better about that promise.
Yeah, I just want you to know that we're technically even. And if you want to count this as you owing me something in the future, that's fine.
I think we need to start keeping score. There needs to be some tallies. Murtaugh, you can do that.
Secretary.
Well, he has a little desk he needs to use.
Murtaugh, write this down. For my memoirs. Just like, look.
Murtaugh, get a pen.
So awful. But that's pretty much what it is. So Jamie like promises, but like he's promising because he wants to, instead of like owing something.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make himself feel better, like make it seem like it's his decision, not hers, which is
okay, Jamie. Whatever helps you sleep at night. I know you've just got back to sleeping okay because of blackjack. Let's not rock the boat too much.
But yeah, so in the book, it's very much like, and then all of a sudden they're dueling, and you're just kind of like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
Why would he do that? This is ridiculous. And
in the show, you're kind of just like, oh, clearly Blackjack did something to Fergus.
Yeah. This you're kind of like, oh, exactly. This is why he's doing it. This is like you're on his side. So I think the show is a little more sympathetic toward Jamie, at least in this regard. Like, they don't want to let the audience dislike him.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's like, it's like that for Jamie throughout the whole entire, at least the television series, where it's this season a little bit more than season one. Jamie has done some things where you're just like, why are you such a dick? But
right,
then
like he's not perfect.
Yeah. But then they explain, and then you're like, oh my God, he kind of is perfect. Like, you have like a 30-second window where you're like, I hate him. And then it's like, oh, but he's like doing it for a reason, kind of thing.
Yeah, I do think the show doesn't really want to let you dislike Jamie at any point. Not for a long period of time. Because, yeah, he does always have a reason. But it's the same way in the book. I mean, Jamie always has a reason for every single thing he does. And, like, he's always the perfect guy. And just, honestly, Jamie bores me.
Because he's too perfect.
He's too perfect. He's not challenging.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's just, she tells him that she's from the future, and he's like, okay.
Okay. I believe you.
Let's go back to the stones, because you should probably go back to your husband.
Yeah. I mean,
like
maybe he's like the boy version of a manic pixie girl.
Maybe.
The manic pixie boy. Because he's like still like, I don't really have a family. My parents are dead. All I have is my sister. But I'm still perfect.
Yeah, but like, Claire has a lot of like flaws. Like, whenever Claire does, she does a lot of stupid crap.
She just doesn't understand that she's not in her time period. Like, she just like,
she does a lot of things where like she reacts as though it's 1945, And she doesn't think like this might not be okay in
Or she also just
1745.
automatically thinks she's always right.
That too. And that's I like Claire. Like I really like Claire as a character because she's flawed and for that reason interesting. Like I get frustrated with her, but I still like her. Whereas with Jamie, I get frustrated at him because there's no reason for me to dislike him.
Yeah.
So I always feel bad about not liking him because there's no reason for me to not like him except that he's just obnoxiously perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So like even with the stupid duel, like he breaks their deal, but you still want to be happy because obviously Blackjack did something to Fergus, and in response, Jamie stabbed him in the dick.
Yeah, and you're like more pissed off at Claire for being like, why didn't you like I found myself being more pissed at Claire than being pissed at Jamie, which is wrong. Like I shouldn't be. Like she has every right to be upset, but I'm just like, shut up, Claire.
Especially because Claire doesn't know the context, and that's one of the reasons why I think that situation worked better in the book, because you also don't know the context.
Yeah.
You can be as upset as with Jamie as Claire is.
Yeah. I wish I was like more angry at Jamie.
Yeah, like you want to be more upset at Jamie. You want to be like, yeah, you deserve to get arrested, jerk.
Yeah. Go to jail. I'm not gonna come bail you out. The mother of your child.
And I'm hemorrhaging in a field because of
You
you.
might be dead. I don't know.
Yeah, just and they also sort of one of the things that struck me while watching this episode was the whole thing where she's overworking herself and she starts to bleed a little bit at the hospital. It feels like it was set up sort of to be foreshadowing to the hemorrhaging later in the field.
Mm-hmm.
But it also
Well, it's literally the next morning.
right,
That
but
timeline.
since it doesn't happen that way in the book, it's one of those things where like she doesn't feel great, which is why she stops working at the hospital and she takes it easy. But she doesn't overwork herself like she does in the show. So part of you, like when she shows up at the field and she's freaking out, when she shows up in the field and is freaking out in the book, it's obviously the stress of that moment and of everything that she's going through that causes this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the show, you're kind of like yourself and you just
Yeah.
in the hospital the day before. Like so it's almost it felt like it was almost putting more blame on her for like endangering herself.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. It didn't feel as much in the show like
oh my god.
Yeah. We'll have to talk more about this in the next episode because there's events in the next episode that I want to talk about that I can't because they haven't happened yet.
That's usually how it works.
Tends to be.
So Jamie leaves a note for Claire. She rushes to the field and his
name is like 3 words, by the way.
Yeah, it was like, I'm sorry, but I had to. Like something, and then he couldn't even write Jamie, he just wrote Jay. Put your name. It's already a nickname. Like but at the brothel, Fergus is told to stay where he was when they got there, but Fergus being a pickpocket was like, no, I could just like score a bunch of crap.
A pickpocket who used to live there.
Yeah. So he walks into one of the rooms, pan over to the red dumbass jacket, and you're like, oh shit. And then here comes Blackjack. You don't actually see Blackjack in the room with Fergus in this episode. I hope they do not show us that because
yeah, I can't remember how detailed it got in the book, and that was something that you and I spoke about offline a little bit because in the book it wasn't like Blackjack just happened upon Fergus and needed to take his pants off. Like it was that they went to the brothel. Jamie said, I'm going to go handle this. Stay here. Fergus went, because he used to live in the brothel, he went into like the room where all of the women hang out while they're waiting to be, picked like your lobster when you walk into a restaurant. He went into that room, was hanging out with the women, and Blackjack shows up, goes into the room and is looking over the women, sees Fergus and says, like, I want him. And Fergus thinking, I'll make a little extra money. This will be fine.
But that's not how it is in the show at all.
That's not how it is in the show at all. Blackjack is way more of a predator.
Yeah, like this is straight up creepy. Like, Fergus shouldn't have gone in the room, but Fergus is still a child. He's in the protective care of Jamie Fraser. Not that Blackjack would know that. Not that many people know that because Fergus is like a
right, they're hiding that relationship.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, that was a little out in the open.
Yeah. So Fergus is just going in to steal some shit, and he just happens to go into the wrong room and is faced with Blackjack, which I think, if we know Blackjack's record, I think we can all assume that there was probably some sexual assaulting on that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which probably most likely was interrupted by Jamie. We don't know because they didn't show in the show, which led to the duel, which then led to Claire freaking out and taking the carriage to the woods where the duel is happening, because that's where duels go down, apparently, in the woods.
No, just in the woods.
In the woods. And Claire is extremely uncomfortable. Her stomach hurts. She's like, looks like she's like about to vomit and like has to go take a poop like at the same time, which is pretty much what labor's like, from what I been told.
From your immense experience.
Yeah. And she gets there, but the duel's already started. So Claire, what's the guy's name that she goes with?
I don't remember. Some
The
dude.
servant. He had like a really cool name. I think it was like Magnus or something like that. I could be making it. It's something with an M. And she's watching, and she's like hunched over, and she just keeps saying Jamie, Jamie, but Jamie can't fucking hear her.
She's also trying not to interrupt so that she doesn't accidentally kill him.
Yeah. And I mean, they're both kicking ass pretty well for, Jamie that's like has a bad hand. And Blackjack, who's, I'm assuming, still wounded.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ends up with Jamie stabbing Blackjack in the dick, which is even worse than, like, I think for a rapist is worse than death.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like an appropriate punishment for Blackjack.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna stab you in the dick.
I don't know if that's what Jamie was going for, but that's how, I want to think it's what he was going for, but I mean, I don't know. Because technically he doesn't break his promise to Claire because he doesn't kill Blackjack. He just prevents him from ever having offspring.
Which, in a way, breaks his promise. Possibly worse.
Yeah.
So Blackjack's still alive. And
Gray areas. Yeah.
It's Magnus, by the way.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, it is Magnus.
I would like to believe that Jamie wanted to stab him in the dick. I don't know. But then all of a sudden, French police dudes swarm in, arrest Jamie. Blackjack is bleeding from his penis on the floor. Claire is now bleeding like literally all over the place. And she tells Magnus to take her to Mother. Oh my God, what's her name? Hildegard. And that's how the episode
ends. The Louboutin, they something or other. Yeah.
I don't think it's that. Louis Vuitton's a designer.
Louis Vuitton, it's something like that. It's not Louis Vuitton. That's not Louis Vuitton. But Louis Vuittons are shoes. They're the ones with the red. But it's the something similar to that. Dade something or other. Yeah. Hold on. I got this. Hold on. I'm gonna ask the internet.
Okay. And at the end, while Jamie's being arrested, he does see Claire, and he goes, Claire, Jesus, the Jamie, Claire, Jamie, ah!
Oh, it's L'Hôpital des Agnes, or something like that. It's like La Hospital, but...
The hospital of the poor.
Hospital of the poor people.
Yeah. The sickly.
The hospital of the sickly. We have the hospital of the healthy over here. Yeah, it's dramatic, and I'm not really loving this season. This episode was good.
Yeah.
But it's like there haven't been any episodes so far, and we're 6 episodes in, so we're halfway.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, ish. We'll be halfway midway through the next episode.
Halfway through episode 7.
We'll be halfway.
Yeah.
But there haven't been any episodes yet that have been able to stand on their own.
I thought the dinner party episode was pretty good.
I think I was like only half paying attention to that one, but yeah, I liked how it ended. It ended great.
They all have strong endings.
But that's the thing, like because we've gotten into this like serialized thing, like shows meant to be binged. Watching them week to week is just annoying because it's like this really slow burn and then this race to the finish in the last like 5-10 minutes.
Which is something that we talked about when we did X-Files, how they would always do these to be continued episodes.
Yeah. But it was
like
only
now,
2 episodes a season.
Yeah. But now like we live in a society where people are binging that it's like almost, even when you're watching like an ABC series, your viewers are expected to end every episode with a cliffhanger.
Yeah, and they're making assumptions about their audience that the audience has seen every episode. Whereas like years ago, and with serialized television, more of like the procedural kind of stuff, you know, you can come in at any point and you're not totally lost.
Well, I think you could say that happens with sitcoms, not so much with drama series anymore. Drama series, you kind of have to watch every episode.
Most drama series do have a really solid through line now, like where they didn't have as solid a through line in the past. But like, yeah, like with something like the X-Files, like unless you're talking about the mythology episodes, there was a beginning, a middle, and an end, and everything was wrapped up at the end of the episode so that you didn't have to watch next week. You didn't have to have watched last week, except in certain cases. But we've gotten to this point, especially with like premium cable, where you're expected to have watched every episode. But not only that, they're making it for people who are going to watch later. So that when you're watching week to week, it's like, you know, every episode, it's like, yeah, and you're done.
Yeah, like you can't just hit like play next, which I wish I could, because it sucks waiting.
Yeah, but you have to wait for the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
like the olden days.
But even with that format, I feel like last season was stronger, and I don't know if maybe it's just because I like the story and the world building of the first season, because I also preferred the first book.
I think maybe you just don't like French people. And
maybe I just don't. I don't really like France. Not that I've been to France. I just, in my experiences with the French.
Okay.
I prefer the French Canadian.
Okay. All right. Sure, they're happy.
I always knew who was French and who was French Canadian because the French Canadians were more polite.
Okay, sure. If you say so.
I know a lot of French people. But you know, maybe it's that, but I don't think it's that. I don't know if it's how much time we're spanning over this season. Like, it's been like 7 months and 6 episodes. Or if it's just that I'm not as engaged with this story as last season.
I feel like this section of the series is a little bit more soap opera-y than season 1. It's more like, oh my god, like a lot of like moments. Whereas like season 1 was like more of like a storytelling versus like shocking.
Yeah, but there's also like the season, like I feel like I should like this season more because we're not dealing with the world building of the first season. It's now let's explore. Like they have a goal and a mission and a thing that they're doing, whereas last season it was just Claire discovers Scotland.
I feel like this would have been stronger if they focused more on the like not supporting the Jacobite, like breaking down that. But in between all that, like we only get like little smits of like them trying. Their main goal in France is to stop the Jacobites from gaining all this financial money to start the rebellion, with just Claire and Jamie drama.
Yeah, the Claire and Jamie drama is getting a little tiresome.
Yeah. As much as like it's annoying when they're perfect, I'd rather them just be perfect.
And dealing with something together outside of it. And yeah, like, I feel that way about a lot of shows. Like the shows that are successful when they finally get their 2 main characters together, like they're successful if they can then exist together in a world where stuff is happening.
Yeah. Because like I feel like the strong scenes are like when it was like Jamie and Claire and Murtaugh and even Fergus like coming together to like cook up this like a plan to, you know, like take back steps to Prince Charles gaining financial support.
Right. Like the strongest scenes in this episode were like the four of them talking about the plan and like Claire making Jamie sick. And
giving him smallpox.
You know, the scenes between Fergus and Jamie, or the scenes between Jamie and Murtaugh, or Murtaugh and Claire, like all of the scenes where they're just being themselves and there's no crazy anguish happening.
Yeah.
You know, those were the best scenes. So yeah, I agree with you that I think a lot of it is the drama that's just becoming a little tiresome.
Which hopefully will just all be resolved, because either this baby's gonna fucking live or die, and Jamie's either gonna get the king to release him or not. So
things have to happen.
Yeah.
Next week on Outlander, things
happening in a sequence.
In a sequence of events, a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, unless like we do another thing where Jamie escapes prison in France, and then they have to hop a boat to go back to Scotland because now he's an outlaw in France.
He's an outlaw everywhere.
Yeah,
he's an outlaw in the New World. He hasn't even been there.
So, I mean, who knows?
Yeah. So next week, I don't know if you saw previews for next week. Drama is afoot.
It didn't even like really. The previews this season have sucked.
Yeah, I haven't seen the previews for any of the episodes.
It does not give us enough.
I know the preview for this episode of the last one. I was watching it going, I've read the book and I have no idea what's happening in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, this one was just like Claire laying in a bed just being like pissed off. And then there's just like
that's
one
an apt
scene
description of what's happening in the next episode.
And then but not sad or anything, just pissed off.
Angry.
Yeah. And then there's just like one shot of King Louis, which I'm assuming King Louis has to decide whether Jamie stays in prison or not, or like what's the outcome with Jamie. Which, if the parge is going well,
he did help me loosen my bowels.
Might work in Jamie's favor. And he did stab Blackjack in his penis, and clearly Louis was not a fan of Blackjack. So, I mean, I'm not super worried about the outcome for Jamie, but King Louis is a little bit of a weirdo, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought we were going to get more King Louis.
No, you don't get very much of him in the book either.
Okay.
Pretty much just what they've done. Actually, I think there's been more of him in the show.
Oh, really?
Because that whole scene with Blackjack didn't happen.
Yeah, you said that whole scene didn't happen in the books.
It's just the pooping, which I'm not even sure the pooping happens in the books. He's definitely getting dressed. And then the stuff when Jamie is pooping.
I mean, we're so mature that we just laugh about poop.
You're the one who busted out laughing about poop, okay?
Because you just said it's just the pooping. But
we did make jokes about poop and nipples in the second episode, so
I mean, those are the two highlights.
The highlights in France, really.
Yeah, pooping and nipples. Visit France this summer. Look at pooping and nipples.
Watch the king take a shit, sort of.
Well, maybe the Minister of Finance will come in and be like, no, you can't kill Jamie. We play chess together. We haven't seen
me. So boring.
We haven't seen him in a while since Claire's got poisoned, so we're due. I don't know. I mean, I have several theories like running through my mind.
Do you want to share any of them? We're at that part of the program.
Yeah, where Kate comes up with theories.
And then laughs at her silently.
And then I just watched Trisha's facial reactions to my theories to see if they're true. I just like to say our one friend, Gianna, keeps trying to tell me what's going to happen.
And I keep wanting to smack her for it.
And I'm being very strong. Because she's like, do you just want me to tell you? And I'm like, no. I'll be lying to our viewers. I'm doing it for you guys.
It's all for you guys.
All for you. Yeah, but like, I mean, blackjack theories.
Okay.
Clearly, his penis doesn't work. And there's no way he could come back from that. Like, there's no rebounding after being stabbed in the dick, right? Like, there's just no, like, um, my theory is, well, I said it before that I always thought that maybe Alexander will impregnate Mary, then die because he's just been coughing up a lung for like 7 months and we don't know why. And that Blackjack just is honorable and marries Mary and plays the kid off as his own.
Alternate
Which,
theory is what? That Blackjack dies and Alex takes his place?
yeah, my alternate theory is that Blackjack bleeds out because his dick is bleeding. And Alex, being disgraced, was like, well, this is the perfect chance for me just to impose as my brother for a year because then he does die. So maybe Alexander dies as Blackjack and him and Mary have a kid. And the Bible is just like a little Randall family secret lie. So do you know what happens?
Not specifically.
Hmm.
I know most of what happens for the rest of the book, but not that specific thing.
You don't know the whole.
I don't know all of the Randall family secrets.
The Randall family secrets. Okay.
But I know like what happens next and for the rest of the book, pretty much.
So like if the baby lives or dies.
Yeah, I know that answer.
Ugh.
And I'm not telling you one way or the other.
I mean, am I gonna find out next episode? Like, I feel like if I'm gonna find out,
You're gonna find out pretty early in next episode.
I mean, either way, it's gonna really suck because like if the baby lives and like she gives birth, like Jamie wasn't there, though Jamie wouldn't be in the room with her anyway because like
Would he be out smoking cigars? Would he be out smoking cigars with the buddies?
Yeah, like drinking scotch. Like my lady's having a baby. So yeah, so Jamie wouldn't be there, and then if the baby dies, they're just gonna suck all together because then like Claire will be like, this is your fault to Jamie, I'm sure. And Jamie will be like, yes, it is my fault. And then she's gonna be like this guilt between them. But clearly, like, they have to get over all that shit because like she's still so madly fucking in love with him when she goes to the rocks. So I mean, even though it's like 2 years in the future, right?
Roughly. Year and a half, maybe.
Yeah. So they have time to mend their relationship.
And get pregnant again.
Yeah.
So you know that.
Yeah. Okay.
The viewers know that. It was the first episode. She was pregnant.
Yeah, but we didn't know that wasn't that baby.
It can't be that baby. She's so freaking pregnant. And it's been 3 years. This is not rocket science. This is a different baby. We've been talking about it the whole time.
Okay.
Because you've been saying she'll have to leave a 2-year-old.
I said that off air.
No, you said that on air.
No. Anyway, and that Master Raymond is a time traveler. Those are my only theories at the moment.
That's my favorite one, I think.
Do you know if it's true or not?
Is a time traveler. No, I have no idea about that.
Okay. Like, I feel like when they go back to Scotland, like, he's going to be, like, in a Scottish, like, shop.
He's just going to, like, be standing there.
He'll be like, hey, man, what's up?
What's up?
You travel through the stones? I travel through the stones, too.
I actually didn't travel through the stones. I traveled through, like, a cave.
Yeah, because I'm French.
Bitch. Yeah. Yeah, so those are your theories. I can't make theories because I know stuff. And that would just be unfair. Because either I'd be predicting things I know are going to happen or I'd be lying and you wouldn't know and it would just be mean.
Yeah, I mean, we could do like is Trisha lying or not? You just come out with like outrageous stuff and we're like, oh my God.
Well, one thing that is actually kind of worrying me because I haven't really loved this season so far is that there was an interview with the author of the books, Diana Gabaldon, who said that she's not a huge fan of what they do in the second season. And specifically that at some point in the back half of the season, they, quote, jump the shark. Or what she considers to be jumping the shark. For those of you that don't know, jumping the shark is a television term for when a show does something completely outrageous from which there is essentially no return.
Like Colum dies? What? That's also a popular Kate theory that has been discussed, that Colum dies and Jamie is going to challenge Dougal for the right to the Mackenzie clan.
Yes.
I'm really hoping that one's right.
I don't know if that would be shark jumping because that seems plausible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it does make a lot of sense. I know. It's a great theory. Thank you, Trisha.
Like, it's something that I could see being a plot point.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I honestly don't know. Maybe the time traveling Raymond is the shark jumping that she's talking about.
That'd be
But
awesome
it could
too.
be something that she considers horrible that the audience doesn't. Like, you don't know because she has a different opinion on the material than everybody else does, considering she wrote it.
Yeah. She created this world.
If you have any theories about what the shark jumping might be, don't leave them in the comments because you might spoil Kate. We're not allowed to spoil Kate. You can leave comments about this episode or previous episodes, both the episode of Outlander and this episode of Two Chicks, One Show.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you thought of the episode. Favorite parts, least favorite parts.
If you think I'm right.
If you think Kate's right, no spoilers. No spoilers. We're trying to keep Kate spoil-free. It's very difficult.
So hard.
It takes a lot of effort.
It really does.
We try very hard. Mostly Kate tries. I just sit here and laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for this program. If you'd like to tell us what you thought, you can leave in the comments below the video and the comments on the website. You can tweet them to us. I am at Trisha Ennis. She is at Kate Calabro. It is hashtag Two Chicks, One Show. Check it. Read them. We'd like to hear your comments. We'd like to know what you think. It's fun. And we get more comments for Outlander videos and anything else. So super fun. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye.